sevako sajo diyo Thakura Mote sevako sajo diyo Thakura.
Jai Guru Young Aspirants. We'll start with attendance and then I'll ask Anhik to explain the meaning of the song he just sang. Aditi?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Abhyasa?
Ma, Jai Guru Abhyasa nahi.
Jai Guru ma'am. I see. Anhik? Ansh?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Amso?
Jai Guru man, I think Boston.
Okay. Arnav?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Arush? Aryan?
Jai Guru man, Boston.
Jai Guru hai. Aryan?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Jamu?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Divyan?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Timmy? Timmy? Eva? Jaja?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Naipik?
Jai Guru man Sebastian.
Jai Guru. Pratyusha? Pratyush?
जय गुरु महाराज आम सब टे जाऊँ रथ यात्रा तेना प्रत्युष जॉइन कर आम विल ड्रॉप नाउ जय गुरु.
Jai Guru hai. Saraswat?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Artha? Bhakti?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Bobby?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Shilpi?
Jai Guru ma.
Jai Guru. Jaya?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Manu? Jimmy? Simran?
Jai Guru ma.
Jai Guru. Shrija?
Jai Guru ma.
Jai Suhani?
Jai Guru, she's coming.
Jai Guru. Yukta?
Jai Guru ma.
Jai Guru. Is there anyone I missed or who came after I called it? If not, Anhik, can you explain the meaning of the song you just sang?
Jai Guru. This song has a beautiful meaning. This song is all about service to our Thakur. We are praying him to bless us so that we can always serve him. Our life belongs to Thakur, so we should always follow the advices of Sangha and do Thakur's work in this world. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru, right. Like we've talked about many times, we follow what he tells us to do. Because he's always guiding us and giving us what we need to move forward in our lives, move forward spiritually, and so on. Today we are the last week of the month. We are going to continue reading from the Gita, chapter 4, and so this was sent out yesterday, so hopefully you all have the reading in front of you. So far in chapter 4, Lord Krishna has explained who he is, how he's imparting the ultimate knowledge and yoga, and he has just started a discussion, again, like he had sort of touched on in chapter 3, about the nature of action, because that is the core of this ultimate and divine knowledge. So before we get into today's reading, again, if you don't have it in front of you, please pull that up. I just want to go through a couple of the key points from the last few verses that we read last month, just because we're building kind of on those ideas. So first key point is Lord Krishna, described his nature and why he manifests on earth. So does anyone remember what is the purpose of Lord Krishna manifesting on earth? Why does he appear as Lord Krishna, and we've talked about other avatars?
Jaguru, to defeat evil. Jaguru,
right. Yes. So he comes to defeat, if there's a lot of evil in the world, he comes to defeat that evil, and then he also, conversely, then is here to protect the good in the world and impart that. So keeping that balance of good and evil, protecting the good, destroying the evil. And so knowing that he's able to come at various times and manifest at various times, what does that mean about his nature? So when I ask that question, I mean, how long has he existed? Where does he exist? What does that mean about him? Chelsea, what does that imply about his nature if he's able to come at various points in time, manifest on earth at various points in time? Chelsea, are you there? Bobby, what does that mean about his nature if he's able to manifest at various points in time?
I think that he's become one with God, and that he's attained the ultimate knowledge and can now impart that knowledge to others. Jaguru.
Jaguru. So, Lord Krishna, this manifestation is just he is, and he's considered, and we consider him in the same way we consider Thakura, that ultimate, what we think of as God, Brahman. He has that knowledge. He is that, and knows that he is that. So he's able to manifest that knowledge, and that also means that he is eternal. So he is that concept of God. We have Brahman. And then another thing that we talked about last time, Lord Krishna said, as Ramana said, everyone follows his path in all respects. And that's just important for us to remember. So as we're getting into this discussion of action and intention, regardless of what our beliefs are, who we follow, how we interpret Brahman or God, so we have, what we're taught, what Thakura has taught us, other people follow other paths. All of us are on that path in every respect, regardless of whether we are intentional about that or not. We're all a part of that. So with that kind of in the back of our heads, as we're let's go ahead and read Yukta, can you go ahead and read the passage?
Yeah, I can. Jaguru, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, part 3. The four categories of occupation were created by me, according to people's qualities and activities. Although I am the creator of the system, know me to be the non-doer and eternal. Activities do not taint me, nor do I desire the fruit of actions. One who knows me in this way is never bound by the karmic reactions of work. Knowing this truth, even seekers of liberation in ancient times performed actions. Therefore, following the footsteps of those ancient sages, you too should perform your duty. What is action and what is inaction? Even the wise are confused in determining this. Now I shall explain to you the secret of action, by knowing which you may free yourself from material bondage. You may understand the nature of all three: recommended action, prohibited action, and inaction based on the Vedas. The truth about these is profound and difficult to understand. Those who see action in inaction and inaction in action are truly wise amongst humans. Although performing all kinds of actions, these are yogis and masters of all their action. The enlightened sages call those people wise, whose every action is free from the desire for material pleasures, and who have burnt the reaction of work in the fire of divine knowledge. Such people have given up attachment to the fruit of their actions, are always satisfied and indifferent to external things. Despite engaging in activities, they do not mind anything at all. Free from expectations and the sense of ownership, with the mind and intellect fully controlled, they incur no sin, even performing only actions to maintain body sustenance. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru, thank you. So, are there any questions before we start? Okay, if not, Jai Guru, yes, go ahead.
This is Anik. What exactly is an action?
That is a great question, and that is pretty much what we're going to discuss this whole session. So let's I guess before we get into that, let's talk about a couple lines before that, and then we'll get into that discussion, I think. So I think that will help set us up. So first thing, and at this point is there, and I guess not. We can discuss that more later, but we'll focus more on that action versus action piece. That first line, it talks about the 4 categories of occupation created by me. Does anyone know what that refers to? 4 categories.
Yeah, the 4 categories are, this is Ansh, the 4 categories should be the caste system.
Yeah, Guru, right. So that he's referring to the caste system there as it was originally in the Vedas, so in the religious context. I know probably many of you, especially older young aspirants, when you study India and Hinduism in school, they discuss that and how that changes over time. But in this context, in this religious context, it's dividing groups based off of occupation, what you do day to day, and thus giving spiritual guidance based off of what works for what your day-to-day life looks like. So he's just mentioning that here, that system is created by him, in the sense of him as God. And even though he's the creator of that system, we know that he is not part of those actions as prescribed in that system, and he is eternal, as we've discussed. And then he says in that next line that activities don't taint me, he doesn't desire fruits of action, and one who understands and who knows him in any way is never bound by the karmic reactions of work. They're not affected by that. And so that gets us now into this discussion of action, inaction, doing, not doing. So, in verse 15, we have this idea we have actions we're supposed to do that we're prescribed to do. Why does it in verse 15 say that we should be performing our duties and actions? What example is given about why we should perform our duties? Others?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. So in verse 15, what example is given? Why are we supposed to be performing our duties?
Jaguru, you're supposed to be performing your duty to achieve liberation. Jaguru?
Jaguru. It was done by those before us. They achieved liberation. It's part of what we are supposed to do. We can do our duties. We are supposed to do our duties and still will attain liberation in that pathway. And so now into this whole discussion of inaction versus action. Now Lord Krishna says, what is action and what is inaction? And of course that is, he points out himself, very confusing. So in the next line, he mentions 3 types of action. And so what are in line 17, what are the 3 categories of action that Lord Krishna describes? Divya? Vivian, what are the 3 categories of action that he described? Okay. Divya, are you still there? Okay. We heard you for a bit, but can't hear you now. I think we're just having a little trouble hearing you, some disturbance on the line. I'll go to Arnav. What were the 3 types of action described?
Jagger, the 3 types of actions were recommended action, prohibited action, and inaction. Jagger?
Right, Guru. And where, what source do we get, would we get more of a description of what's recommended, prohibited, and what counts as inaction?
Jaguru, we get that from the Vedas. Jaguru?
There are, based in the text of Vedas, all of those, what's recommended, so what we're supposed to do, what we're not supposed to do, and then anything that falls under a category of inaction, which we define as not doing. All of that, everything that is done, everything that is an action, we can define in that way and is listed out in the Vedas in multiple places. So then, getting into this idea of what exactly is inaction. So we know there are things we're supposed to do, things we aren't supposed to do. What does inaction mean in that? This is where we can kind of begin to discuss that. Is line 18, those who see action in inaction and inaction in action are truly wise among humans. So if we understand what that means, we get kind of to the main point here. So first, before we get into anything, how would we define action and how would we define inaction? Aryan, what do you think?
Jai Guru. So, reading the article, I think that it's a little bit vague, talking about what the distinction is between action and inaction. I think action is actively performing something that is stated out in the Vedas, and inaction would just be kind of being like a bystander and not actively performing those duties. Jai Guru?
Very good, right. So action and inaction, as these words are used here, these are the same words, action and inaction, that we have in the English language and as they were translated from the Sanskrit. So at its base level, it is action is you're doing something, inaction is the absence of doing something. So that's a basic idea. But then now we have this question of how do we see inaction, not doing, in action, in doing, and how do we see action in not doing? How can those two things, which we've defined as opposites, be described in each other? And so to get at this question and really what you mean here by inaction, we talked about a couple of weeks ago Shankaracharya, who had through his lineage of knowledge that Thakura was trained through his Jnani Guru. So a lot of what he said about this is coming from this line and these commentaries and things that have been studied later. So in Shankaracharya's commentary on this, discussing the nature of action and inaction, he points out that understanding that line, how to find action, inaction and action, action and inaction, refers to the truth about who the doer of actions is. So if we understand the ultimate truth about who is doing those actions and who we are, then this line will make a lot more sense. So when we think about it, who or what actually does these actions? So as we are living out in the world, Gemma, who is or what is ultimately doing all of the actions in the world as we're going about even right now? Gemma, were you there?
Sorry, I didn't hear you call my name. So you asked who performs action in the real world, right?
Yeah. So I guess when.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I think in the real world we perform, us as humans, we perform action based on what we've been told from Thakura in order to attain that liberation.
So we perform actions based off of what Thakura says, and that gets into how we can not incur the sin of action, or we can get out of that karmic cycle that we have when we perform actions. There's a reaction, how we get out of that. Ultimately, I guess we can get to this question. We've discussed this a few different times, but what have we said, Bobby? Bobby, what have we said about, in the universal truth of who we are? Who are we?
Jai Guru, we are all part of Brahma, and our whole journey is to become one with him again and attain that ultimate truth.
Right. So since we know ultimate truth is that we are all actually we are Brahma. We have that ability to be enlightened because we are that. Is that aspect of us, that true who we are, is that what is doing the action? Bobby, is that aspect of us, this ultimate truth aspect, this Brahman aspect of us, is that what is doing the actions in our day-to-day life?
Jaguru, could you repeat the question?
Yes. So you just defined our ultimate truth is that that we are ultimately Brahman. So if ultimately we are Brahman, is that aspect of us, that ultimate truth of us, is that the doer of action?
Jaguru, I'm not too sure, but I don't think it would be the doer of action because our mind is, at the moment, our mind is separate from our soul, and we're not able to fully realize that we are part of Brahman. So I feel like that the part of us that is part of Brahman would not be the doer.
Okay, Guru. Then that's right. So that is what this line is saying, inaction and action. It's getting at that ultimate truth. So Brahman, in this case, Lord Krishna himself is saying, I'm Brahman, and he realizes that. He says he cannot be a doer of action. So in that same way, that true part of ourselves, the Brahman part, that we need to realize, that is truly us. That is not doing the actions. It can, if ultimately those actions are being done by our minds, which don't realize that, by our bodies, which don't realize that, but that is not truly who we are. So understanding that true self, Brahman, that Atma that is Brahman, cannot do actions, means that in all of those actions, who we are, if we understand who we are, there is inaction because we are not attached to that. So we'll think about that some. In the next session, he'll go into kind of what we touched on today, which is following Thakur, understanding that how we get to that truth to really be able to live and understand that aspect of action. We'll get more into how we can do that because right now we conceptualize it, but we don't understand it. Hopefully you can ponder that for the next month, see how that can make sense because it's a kind of deep and complicated concept, and we'll pick up more in how you foster that in the next few times. With that, we're out of time, and Divyam has stuff for me today. Divyam, when you're ready. Jai Guru.
Jai Divyam.
Yeah,
Anjana explained it.
Today is my Bobby meeting Maria, and today during Y session, something weird happened, and I couldn't say it right, and yeah, so I'm sorry for that. My minister was my problem. Now the freshman year of high school has ended, I'm not sure how to feel. I'm relieved that the stress and pressure of school is finally over. However, with no assignments that usually keep me busy, I have a lot of free time, which leaves me very bored. To suppress this boredom, I've turned to playing the piano, one of my hobbies. I used to be very dedicated to piano, but as life got increasingly hectic and demanding, I slowly forgot my passion for it. Now I've been dedicating more time to practicing it. Playing the piano has made my days more exciting, and it's truly a wonderful feeling to reconnect with the part of me that was temporarily lost. Jai Guru.
जय गुरु प्राणर ठाक्यर पूज्य परिचालक महोदय सभापति महोदय समस्त भाई माँ और पिला माने समस्त मोर जय गुरु प्रणाम। आज ठाकुर कृपारू संघ कृपारू मते पुणी वर्ष को थे पाली मिल पार्ची। आज मोर सेवा पाली ठाकुर कृपारू मु आसन मंदिर को भी आसी पार्ची। आमर परम सौभाग्य आम सहित आम परिचालक भाई भी उपस्थित अच्छा आज पूरा संघरे से बहुत सौभाग्य आमर। आज वर्ष को थे जेहेतु संघ पूजा पाली मिलूँ मुझे समीक्षा करने चाहूँगी पूरा वर्ष जाक भितर मु संघ द्वारा केमती उपकृत आ संघ द्वारा कौन शिखी मुझे जीवन में केमती कार्यकारी करुच्ची। गत वर्ष जो मु संघ पूजा पाली नहीं कि आम नुआ घरे सब सकाल संध्यारे पूजा आरंभ करी से ठाकुर पाखे मोर गोटे प्रार्थना था जमती मु आध्यात्मिक उन्नति मु तत्व तो एत जानी कि बही एत पढ़ी पारुनी एटलिस्ट सेवा केमती ठीक समय सकाल संध्यारे करी माने ठाकुर सहित केमती गोटे एमती कनेक्ट होगी रही मत सब केमती टाणुथो बाकी संसार काम कि ऑफिस काम बाकी जिनसटा को मुझे सेकेंड प्रायोरिटी केमती दे पारुथी। मु जो कंपनी थी लास्ट ईयर टिके बहुत डिस्टर्बांस काम लोड भी पड़ूला किंतु से ठाकुर पाखे प्रार्थना करी या द्वारा मुझे विचलित होची आपण कृपा करन केमती आपण पाखे केमती मन रहिबो जहाँ ठाकुर पुणी कृपा करके आ गोटे कंपनी चेंज करे लेकिन से भी दायित्व बढ़ला किंतु गोटे जिनस ये पाइली जे मते लगला जे ना मुझे ठाकुर पाखे सेमती किछि मागुची ताल ठाकुर परीक्षा करके आ गोटे एमती दउचंदी जेटा मते लागुचे जे नहीं जोटा थिली बोधे भल थिली एबे आसीगले एठी आउ दायित्व बढ़ियाला तापर मुझे ना ठाकुर भी कहते तुम मैंने किसी मागिबा जाननी किसी मागनी बर मु जहाँ दौची ताकू नियो से जिनसा मु उपलब्धि कली जे ना मुझे जेटा मागुची बर मोर भल होनी जोटा मन को मिलूची सेटा पर मुहूर्त बहुत भल हो मत बहुत भल काम दौची। तापरे कोविड सकाशे मु बहुत दिन इंडिया जाई पार नथली 4 वर्ष होइतला गत वर्ष फर्स्ट टाइम सेप्टेम्बर मसरे गली ठाकुर पाखे प्रार्थना करी जाइथली ठाकुर ए समय तो जाउची केमती मु बहुत गुड़े नुआ नुआ संघ बुलिनी टिके दर्शन करि परिबे सेठ जाइकी मत कहीं माने एमती नुआ नुआ संघ बुलिबा नुआ नुआ गृहासन बुलिबा को भारी भल लगे माने कहीं ना मुझे बहुत जिनस शिखे कहीं जेहेतु आमर ऑनलाइन संघ पूजा हो जाउची सब घरे रहीकि करवा द्वारा भाई भाई मान भितर देखा देखी हो पारुनी द्वारा अनुप्राणित हवाटा टिके डिफिकल्ट हो जाउची माने जेहेतु देखुनु शिखुनु तो मत टिके सेटा भल लगे जहाँ माने मु एते खाली जणैथिली ठाकुर कृपामय एते सुविधा कर देथिले मु फास्ट थरक जो सेप्टेम्बर मास जाइथिली मु कलिकता आश्रम जाई पारली हैदराबाद आश्रम जाई पारली तापरे जगन्नाथपुर शाखा संघ जाई पारली सब ठाकुर केन्द्र कुटीर सब आड़े बुली पारली मत बहुत बढ़िया लगिला। तापरे पुणी जेतबेले बाबा को नहीं कि पुणी आउ थे रिटर्न करने ठाकुर से पुणी प्रार्थना कली ठाकुर एथर जाऊँगी भाग्यवस्त ठाकुर सम्मिलनी क्षेत्र को विजय शोभायात्रा था बृंदावन भाई भी जाऊे मुझे माने आठु भल सुजोग ना कौन जिनस एथर करी खाली से जिनसा केमती प्रायोरिटी देवी आईटा करी निर्विकल्प समाधि स्थल कोकिलामुख मठ देखापी बहुत इच्छा भी थिला। कृपामय एमती कले जे माने एते सुरुखुर रे सब जिनस करदेले सब जिनस भावना बाहर होगला मु ठाकुर सहित केबे भी सम्मिलनी क्षेत्र जाए एमती शोभायात्रा जाई नथली तो ता द्वारा मु एते संघ एते भाई माँ मानकर गृहासन सबु आसन मंदिर एते परिदर्शन करि पारली माने एते बड़ भाग्य लागिला कहली ठाकुर मो परिका अभागा किंतु आपण कृपा करी केते कौन दौरान मु कौन करि पारुछि ମୁଁ ତା ତୁଳନାରେ କିଛି ବି କରିପାରୁନି, ସେଇଟା ବହୁତ ଦୁଃଖ ଲାଗୁଛି। କିନ୍ତୁ ଏଇ ସଂଘ ଦ୍ୱାରା ମୁଁ ଏତିକି ଅନୁପ୍ରାଣିତ ହେଇଛି, ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ଯୋଉ ଦିନଲିପି ସେ ଜିନିଷଟା ଏତେ ପାୱାରଫୁଲ ଜିନିଷ ବହୁତ ବର୍ଷ ହେଲା କରି ଚାଲିଛି। ତାପରେ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ସେଇଟା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମ ସଂଘରେ ଟିକେ ବେଶୀ ତା ଉପରେ ଗୁରୁତ୍ୱ ଦିଆହେଉଛି, ସେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ ଟିକେ ଉପଲବ୍ଧି ବି କରୁଛି ଆଗ ହେଲା ପରେ ହିଁ ମୁଁ ଲାପଟପ୍ ଅନ୍ କରୁଛି। ଜଷ୍ଟ ମାନେ ଫ୍ୟୁ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ହିଁ ଲାଗୁଛି, ବେଶୀ ନାହିଁ। କିନ୍ତୁ ତା ଦ୍ୱାରା ଏତେ ଶୃଙ୍ଖଳିତ ହେଇପାରୁଛି, ମୁଁ ସବୁବେଳେ ନିଜେ ନିଜେ ଭାବେ ଠାକୁର କହିଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ତମେ ଏଇ ଜନ୍ମରେ ମୋ କାମ କରିନିଅ, ପରଜନ୍ମ କଥା ମୁଁ ବୁଝିବି। ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନି କ'ଣ ହବ ନ ହବ, ମୁଁ ବହୁତ ନିମ୍ନ ସ୍ତରର, ତା ଦ୍ୱାରା ମୁଁ କ'ଣ ଉନ୍ନତ ହେବି। କିନ୍ତୁ ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ଭାବୁଛି କିଛି ନ ହେଇପାରିଲେ ତ ଏଇ ଶୃଙ୍ଖଳିତ ଜୀବନଟା ତ ହେଇପାରୁଛି। ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ କମ୍ପେୟାର କରୁଛି ଅନ୍ୟ ପିଓର ମାନଙ୍କ ସହିତ, ମତେ ଲାଗୁଛି ମୁଁ ଆମ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ଅନୁପ୍ରାଣିତ ହେବା ଦ୍ୱାରା ଆମେ କେତେ କେତେ ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ଅନ୍ୟମାନଙ୍କଠୁ ଟିକେ ପୃଥକ ହେଇପାରୁଛୁ। ସେଇ ଜିନିଷଟା ବହୁତ ବଢିଆ ଲାଗେ ଯେ କିଛି ନ ହେଇପାରିଲେ ବି ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ ସେଇ ଡିସିପ୍ଲିନ ଜିନିଷଟା ଆସୁଛି। ଆଉ ଆମ ନୀଳାଚଳ ସାରସ୍ୱତ ସଂଘର ସେଇ ଜିନିଷଟା ହିଁ ମୁଖ୍ୟ, ଶୃଙ୍ଖଳିତ ଜୀବନ, ଆଦର୍ଶ ଜୀବନ ଆଉ ଶୃଙ୍ଖଳିତ ଜୀବନ। ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ଏତିକି ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା, ଆଉ ବେଶୀ ସମୟ ନେବିନି। ଠାକୁର ଏମିତି କୃପା କରିଥାନ୍ତୁ, ତାଙ୍କ କୃପାରେ ଆମେ ଆଉ ଆମ ସମସ୍ତ ଭାଇ ମା ମାନଙ୍କର ଉତ୍ତର ଅଧିକ ହଉଥାଉ। ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ।
जय गुरु। प्राणप्रिय श्री श्री ठाकुर महाराज, आमर श्रद्धेय परिचालक महोदय, आउ उपस्थित भाई माँ और पिला माने, बड़ा खुशी लगुच भी सौभाग्य एते दिन पर पाली सेवा आसन मंदिर आसिक नहीं पार्ची। मोर यूजुअली पाली सेवा वर्ष आरंभ रु पड़े, यूजुअली मु प्राय जनवरी फेब्रुआरी नहीं जाए। एथर जो प्रथम जनवरी फेब्रुआरी इंडिया जीवार है, से कौन सी कारण नहीं नाला। आउ दिथर घुंचिकी मत पाली सेवा आज मिली, ठाकुर पाखे कृतज्ञ। भाव विनिमय कहबी आज तो काली आम अधिवास पूजा रू एपर्यंत सकाळ पूजा एपर्यंत बहुत गुड़ाए जिनस पढ़ाला। भाई कहले मालिक सेवक भितर डिफरेन्सटा कहले। सकाळ आमर पढ़ाई मन मनर पांचटा जिनस को आयत्त कर पारे ता ऊपर आसो एकाग्रता। तो मूलामुली मोटामोटी भाव में तीनटा जिनस सब मु चेष्टा करे करने। गोटे हूँ आमर आम एत विषय संसार रे माया संसार रे एते बुड़ी जाऊँ, एते आवरित होइक रहूचु। ठाकुर पाखु आसिले मनटा बहुत हल्का लगे। मोटामोटी एतिक लगे दीटा तीनटा जो जिनस, मन स्थिरता, समर्पण भाव, सेवक भाव, से तीनटा जिनस को सब चेष्टा करे जगिवा पाई। कना वैषयिक जिनस आम एते बेले बेले माति जाए, जेते अचीव कले भी आहरी अचीव करने को इच्छा हुए। सेटा तो मनुष्यर जनरल प्रकृति। सेटा ठाकुर पाखे से सब प्रार्थना करुचे जे मनटा को सब स्थिर रखा केमती। कना जेते जिनस मारे जेते आम आवृत हो पड़ा, मनटा न्याचुराली से चंचल हो। आउ मन को स्थिर करवाटा ही प्रथम आमर प्रधान साधना। से जिनटा को सब मन रखे जे वैश्यक जिनस तो सब लगिक उच्च नीच सब लगिक ता भितर केमती स्थित प्रज्ञ भाव में मनटा को स्थिर करके रखिपर। मनटा स्थिर कर रखले जिनसटा गुड़ाए कंट्रोल आसी जाए, सेटा हो पारे। आउटे हूँ केमती ठाकुर पाखे सरेंडर करवा। सरेंडर कहना आम बेले बेले सब आसी जाए मनरे जे एटा करदेली सेटा करदेली एटा करदेले सेया हेई जिवो। किंतु आम बुझी पारने जे कोटा ठीक कोटा भूल आम पाई। तो सब जिनसटा जणेबाटा, ठाकुर पाखे सब प्राय चेष्टा करे जनइवाई सका संध्या से तो प्राय मोर अभ्यास पड़ जाइए कि तथापि से जनइला भितर भी मागिबाटा हो जाए आमर आम समस्ते जानुचे ठाकुर किसी आमर मागिबा दरकार नहीं ठाकुर जो थे आम मंगल हम से ही करेंगे निश्चित खाली ठाकुर को आम जन चलवा कि से जनइवा भितर आम मागिबाटा हो जाए सो दैट्स ए वेरी फाइन लाइन वी हैव टू ड्र जे केमिति जनइबा जोटा भी सेटा किसी आम ठाकुर पाखे मागिला भाया होनी कहीं जोटा भी भाई कहले कहीं मागिले आम जापारे नियर टर्म रे भल हेल्ले लंग टर्म आम भल कि ना तेणु कृपामय ठाकुर पाखे से प्रार्थना मनटा केमती सब स्थिर समर्पण भाव रही श्रीचरण सब मन लाखी सेवक हेबार भावटा केमती सब एथरक भाई जो सुब्रता एवं कहले मत एथर जो जनवरी मसरे ठाकुर बहुत इना सुजोग मिलता ठाकुर सहित सम्मेलनी क्षेत्र को जावाई से मोर फास्ट एक्सपीरियंस थिला इट वाज ए वेरी ब्यूटीफुल एक्सपीरियंस मु तो केबे ओडिसा रे को संघ पूजा केबे अटेंड करनतली ठाकुर सहित मोर प्रथम बड़ संघ पूजा होता सम्मेलनी प्रथम हूँ 2006 बड़म्बा सम्मेलनी ता पूर्व मुझे किसी संघ पूजा मुझे अटेंड करनी कि कौटी जग देनी सो सम्मेलन मोर सब गोटे प्रधान आकर्षण थाए कहीं समहाउ आई गॉट इंट्रोड्यूस टू मैक्सिमम भक्त विथ ठाकुर एट द सम्मेलनी सो सब मोर से गोटे सम्मेलनी मान मोर सब गोटे थाए मनरे जे प्रादेशिक सम्मेलनी केमी गोटे अटेंड करवा सो एथरक गोटे समहाउ टाइमिंग रे भलो मैच हो पारा इंडिया ट्रिप सहित आई कैंड ऑफ प्लान दैट वे से अनुसार भी डेटा भी पड़ी डिपेंड कर पौष पूर्णिमा माघ पूर्णिमा पड़ू से अनुसार तो माने तुम स्केड्यूलटा हो पार्टी ना इंडिया ट्रिप रो जहाँ बड़ सौभाग्य से हो पारा ठाकुर सहित से आनंद मिल पारा जाटा दैट्स ए वेरी यूनिक एक्सपीरियंस जोड़ा कि से आनंदटा के वर्णना करहबनी एते भक्तों सहित एते शाखा संघ रे जाइकी ठाकुर सहित से आनंद लीला सेटा केवल निजे जी एक्सपीरियंस कर वर्णना कर जहा हो ठाकुर आपण श्री चरण तल एति प्रार्थना से आनंदर सब मजाटा जोटा कि सबुदिन रही पार से आनंदटा सेटारे आमको सब मजेक रखु आपणकर मन लाखी सेवक सेविका केमती हो पारू सेटा सब आपण श्री चरण तल प्रार्थना मन स्थिर रहू आपण पाखे सब से समर्पण भावटा रहू विषय संसार रे जेते मजी रहिले भी केमती आपण श्रीचरण श्रीकमल सब मनटा थाऊ आपण पाखक दौड़ी आसवाई सब मन आकुलित थाऊ भक्त भाई और माँ मान देखा सब मन आकुलित थाऊ से आपण श्रीचरण तले को प्रार्थना जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु। जय गुरु आज्ञा जय गुरु प्राणर श्री श्री ठाकुर महाराज एबे आमर संघ पूजा सरला पर ठाकुर आपण रूम को विजय करेंगे आपण मध्याह्न भोग ग्रहण करेंगे से आपको निमंत्रण जनाऊँ मध्याह्न ठाकुर मध्याह्न भोग ग्रहण करला परे समस्त भाई माँ पिला मानू निमंत्रण जनाऊँ प्रसाद सेवन करेंगे यापर संध्या पूजा आमर संध्या पूजा 6टा हाँ आमर क्लास पूजा आरंभ हम अधिवास मु सुब्रता की देवी कहे किंतु आमर नित्य पूजा संध्या 6टा बेले श्री श्री ठाकुर महाराज आपको निमंत्रण जनाऊँ संध्या 6टारे आप आमर नित्य पूजा ग्रहण करेंगे जय गुरु।
जय गुरु परमाद्य ठाकुर महाराज आपणकर अशेष कृपारू एवं आशीर्वाद बलू आमर श्री जय सेवा शिक्षार्थी मंडल 16 अधिवेशन ଅନୁଷ୍ଠିତ ହେବାକୁ ଯାଉଛି। ଏଥିପାଇଁ ଆମର ଏହାର ପ୍ରଥମ ଦିନର ପ୍ରଥମ ଅଧିବେଶନ ପାଇଁ ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଆଜି ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା 6:30 ସମୟକୁ ନିମନ୍ତ୍ରଣ କରୁଛି। ଦୟାକରି ଆମକୁ ଆମର ସେବା ଗ୍ରହଣ କରିବେ ଏବଂ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଅମୂଲ୍ୟ ବାଣୀ ଶୁଣାଇ ଆମକୁ କୃତାର୍ଥ କରିବେ। ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ।
ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ। ପ୍ରାଣର ଠାକୁର ଆମର ଶ୍ରୀ ଚୈତନ୍ୟ ଦେବ ସେବା ଶିକ୍ଷାର୍ଥୀ ମଣ୍ଡଳର କ୍ଲାସ ପୂଜା 28 ତାରିଖରୁ ଆରମ୍ଭ ହେଉଛି। ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଠାକୁରେ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ସହିତ ପରିଚାଳକ ମହୋଦୟ ଆଉ ବ୍ରଜ ଭାଇ ଆଉ ଜ୍ଞାନ ଭାଇଙ୍କୁ ଆଉ ଆମ ସେବା ଶିକ୍ଷାର୍ଥୀ ମଣ୍ଡଳର ସମସ୍ତ କ୍ଲାସ ପୂଜା ମେମ୍ବର ମାନଙ୍କୁ ସାଦରେ ନିମନ୍ତ୍ରଣ ଜଣାଉଛି। ଠିକ୍ ସମୟରେ ଯୋଗ ଦେଇ ଆମ କ୍ଲାସ ପୂଜାକୁ ସାଫଲ୍ୟମଣ୍ଡିତ କରିବେ ଏବଂ ସେବାର ସୁଯୋଗ ଦେବେ। ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ।
ଠାକୁର ବର୍ଷ ଦ୍ୱାରା ଆପଣ ସେ ଚୟନରେ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କରି ଆସିଥିଲୁ ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ପାଇଁ। ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ଆଗତ ପ୍ରାୟ ଶୁକ୍ରବାର ଜୁନ 30 ତାରିଖରେ ଅଧିବାର ଶନି ରବି ସୋମ ଜୁଲାଇ 1 ଜୁନ 3 ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ଆପଣ କୃପା କରି ସମ୍ମିଳନୀରେ ଉପସ୍ଥିତ ରହି ମୋର ସମସ୍ତ ଭାଇ ମା ମାନଙ୍କର ସେବା ଗ୍ରହଣ କରିବେ। ସମସ୍ତେ ଯେମିତି ବିଶାନ୍ତ ଭାବରେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ମନ ଲାଖି ସେବା ପୂଜା କରି ଆପଣ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ମନ ମତ ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ହେଇପାରିବ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ସୁଶମୟରେ ଭାବିକ୍ଷା କରୁଛି। ପ୍ରିୟ ଭାଇ ମା ମାନେ ଯୋଉମାନେ ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ଆସିପାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି ମାନେ ଭାବି ନାହାନ୍ତି ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ରେଜିଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସନ କରିନାହାନ୍ତି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୁଁ ନିବେଦନ କରୁଛି ସମ୍ମିଳନୀଟା ଆସିବାଟା ଆମର ଇଚ୍ଛା ନୁହେଁ, ଏଟା ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦେଶ। ଏଟା ବାରମ୍ବାର ମୁଁ କହି ଆସିଛି ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ଆସିବ ଏଟା ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ଗୋଟେ ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦେଶ। ସତ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟାୟକୁ ସମ୍ମିଳନୀକୁ ଆସିବ। ତଥାପି ଯୋଉମାନେ ଏପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ରେଜିଷ୍ଟ୍ରେସନ କରିନାହାନ୍ତି ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ନଟ୍ ଟୁ ଲେଟ୍, ପ୍ଲିଜ ଡୁ କମ୍। ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ଆସି ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ଆନନ୍ଦ ଉପଭୋଗ କରୁଛନ୍ତି କି ନାହିଁ। ବିଷୟ ଆନନ୍ଦ ଠାରୁ ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ଆନନ୍ଦ ବହୁତ ଊର୍ଦ୍ଧ୍ୱରେ। ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ଆସିଲେ ଆପଣମାନେ ଜାଣିବେ। ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ପୁଣି ଥରେ ନିବେଦନ କରୁଛି ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ଆସିବାକୁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରନ୍ତୁ। ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ।
ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ। ପ୍ରାଣର ଠାକୁର ଭକ୍ତ ଭାଇ ଆଉ ସବୁ ୟଙ୍ଗ ଆସ୍ପିରାଣ୍ଟସ୍ ମାନେ ମୋର ନେକ୍ସଟ ଲାଇଭ୍ ସେସନ୍ କାଲି ଅଛି। ମୁଁ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ନିମନ୍ତ୍ରଣ କରୁଛି।
ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ। ମୁଁ ସୁକନ୍ୟା ମା ଆହ୍ନିକ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁର ମହାରାଜ ଓ ଭକ୍ତ ଭାଇ ଓ ମା ମାନଙ୍କୁ 7-9-23 ପୂଜା ପାଇଁ ନିମନ୍ତ୍ରଣ କରୁଛି। ସକାଳ 7:15 ପ୍ରତୀକ୍ଷା ଓ 7:30 ଫାଷ୍ଟ ସେକ୍ସନ, ତାପରେ 9:45 ଆବାହନ ସଙ୍ଗୀତ ବୋଲା ହବ, ତାପରେ 10:30 ଦ୍ୱିତୀୟ ଅଧିବେଶନ। ସମସ୍ତେ ପୂଜାରେ ଯୋଗଦାନ କରି ପୂଜାକୁ ସାଫଲ୍ୟମଣ୍ଡିତ କରିବେ ଓ ଆମକୁ ସେବାର ସୁଯୋଗ ଦେବେ, ସେବାର ସୁଯୋଗ ଦେଇ କୃତାର୍ଥ କରିବେ। ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ।
ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ। ପ୍ରାଣାରାଧ୍ୟ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁର ମହାରାଜ, ଉପସ୍ଥିତ ଭାଇ ଓ ମା ମାନେ, ପିଲାମାନେ, ଆଜି ଦିବ୍ୟମ ସୁପ୍ରୀତ ଭାଇ ଆଉ ମୋର ସଂଘ ପୂଜା ପାଳିଥିଲା। ସେଥିରେ ଜାଣତରେ ତ କିଛି ଭୁଲ ହେଇଯାଇଛି, ଅଜାଣତରେ ବି ବହୁତ ଭୁଲ ତ୍ରୁଟି ହେଇଯାଇଛି। ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁର ମହାରାଜ ଆପଣ ଶ୍ରୀ ଚରଣ କମଳରେ କ୍ଷମା ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କରୁଛି। ଆଉ ସମସ୍ତ ଭାଇ ମା ମାନେ ଯୋଉମାନେ ସେବାରେ ନିଯୁକ୍ତ ଥିଲେ ତାଙ୍କ ତରଫରୁ ବି ଯାହା କିଛି ଭୁଲ ତ୍ରୁଟି ହେଇଥିବ ସେଥିପାଇଁ କ୍ଷମା ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କରୁଛି। ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ, ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ, ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ।
ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ। দয়াময় শ্রী চরণী এহি নিবেদন
দয়াময় শ্রী চরণী এহি নিবেদন
নিরন্তর তব নাম করিবি মরণ
নিরন্তর তব নাম করিবি স্মরণ
ইহা ছড়া ন রহিব ইতর কামনা
ইহা ছড়া ন রহিব ইতর কামনা
এহি মাত্র ভিক্ষা মোর এদিকে প্রার্থনা
দেব এহি মাত্র ভিক্ষা মোর এদিকে প্রার্থনা
তুমি প্রভু মুহি দাস এহি অহংকার
তুমি প্রভু মুহি দাস এহি অহংকার
একমাত্র জীব প্রবল সংস্কার দেব
একমাত্র জীব প্রবল সংস্କାର
এথি লাগি যেবে কাଳେ ন মিলে মুকতি
এথি লাগি যেবে কাଳେ ন মিলে মুকতি
তথাপি রখিবি মনে অনন্ত ধ্রুপদী দেব
তথাপি রখিবি মনে অনন্ত ধ্রুপতি
তুমরি দৃষ্টি ভিতরে তুমরি জগতে
তুমরি দৃষ্টি ভিতরে তুমরি জগতে
পড়িথিবি জহি তহি তুমরি ইঙ্গিতে দেব
পড়িথিবি জহি তহি তুমরি ইঙ্গিতে
ধ্বংস পরে রচনার অভিনব রূপ
ধ্বংস পরে রচনার অভিনব রূপ
দেখি দেখি আসি জীব অসল স্বরূপ দেব
দেখি দেখি আসি জীব অসল স্বরূপ
মিলাই ন পারে যেবে তব যন্ত্রেশ্বর
মিলাই ন পারে দেবে তব যন্ত্রেশ্বর
তব নামে বাই জীবি ভঙ্গা বীণা মোর দেব
তব নামে বাই জীবি ভঙ্গা বীণা মোর
শুণু বান শুণু কেহি শিব অহংকার
শুণু বান শুণু কেহি শিব অহংকার
তুমি প্রভু মোহি দাস এতিকি সংস্কার দেব
তুমি প্রভু মোহি দাস এতিকি সংস্কার
প্রেমময় শ্রী চরণে করে নিবেদন
প্রেমময় শ্রী চরণে করে নিবেদন
প্রেমময় শ্রী চরণে করে নিবেদন
প্রেমময় শ্রী চরণে करे निवेदन
तुम जय गाउथिबी ए सारा जीवन देव
तुम जय गाउथिबी ए सारा जीवन
तुम जय गाउथिबी ए सारा जीवन
तुम जय गाउथिबी ए सारा जीवन
जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय जय गुरु 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 जय जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय जय गुरु 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 জয় গুরু 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 jai guru jai guru jai jai guru 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 श्री श्री ठाकुर प्रेमानंद श्री श्री गुरु महाराज की जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु।